Today we're making one of my favorite pastas. I used to make this all the time when the kids were little. There is very little prep here and it's super easy to make. Okay, so this recipe, this is kind of like compilation of things. I used to make this all the time when Tara and I were on the younger side. Not that we're too old right now. I mean, we're not, we're not super old now, but our kids are older now. And basically I would make this when they were like 4, around there. Tara would, on the weekend, she would do most of our shopping, and then she would have all these ingredients that she would pick up at the Olive Bar from a place called Fairway. So Fairway is like a New York City institution. There's other places like Whole Foods that have the same thing, and maybe your local supermarket has the same setup like an Olive Bar like this. So for this recipe, we're gonna use 1 cup of Kalamata olives. Now, if you don't have access to this stuff, all this stuff really comes in jars anyway. So these are pitted. I do recommend that you look for pits still though. Honestly, you could give it a chop here or you could use them whole. These are peppadew peppers. You might be familiar with them, but maybe you haven't seen them before. They're a beautiful looking pepper and they're very much on the mild side. They're almost like a sweet spicy at the same time. They're not spicy though. But if you want spicy, you can use cherry peppers for this. You can use other types of peppers too. These are flat beans, butter beans that have been marinated in olive oil at the place that Tara picked them up, which is Whole Foods. If you can't find them, you can use just a regular can of butter beans, or you can use a can of cannellini beans. It's very flexible here. If you like more beans, you could add more beans. You could really increase the ingredients here so you could serve more than 4 people. 6 people, even 8 people with it. This is probably the one ingredient that you might not have access to. This is roasted garlic. So this is available at the Olive Bar that Tara got it. If you do it yourself, and just all you got to do is just 350 to 400 degree oven. Take a bunch of heads, you cut the end off, and then put a little bit of salt and olive oil on it. Wrap it in foil, put it in your oven for about 45 to 60 minutes. You will get perfect roasted garlic. Whenever I do it, I never do 1 or 2 heads. I'll do like 20, and then I will divide it in the freezer. So then I mark them, so then I'll have like 2 heads ready to go for a recipe. Because roasted garlic is super mild. I could use 40 cloves in this, and it's not going to destroy the dish, but it has like a beautiful flavor where you can eat the whole clove. It's delicious. Would you agree, Tara?
I love it.
Half a cup of grated Pecorino Romano, that's about 45 grams. Half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. 1/4 teaspoon of flat leaf Italian parsley. We'll use a bunch of extra virgin olive oil. We're gonna use a bunch of pasta water. And then we have sausage here. So when Tara would get this, she would get this delicious chicken sausage from Fairway that I don't know if they still sell it or not. And that's what we would often use. I've often made this with Italian sausage, this is the way it's written in our cookbook. The cookbook that is right there, that's coming out. We would use the Italian sausage and then just sear the links and then slice them after they get about 8 or 10 minutes in the pan, so you can slice them. But honestly, to make it easier, and this is the way I did it in the cookbook, I would just cut these open and make it, just the crumbled sausage and sear it. You could also buy bulk sausage if you could find it locally. So in the book, it is named appropriately pasta alla Jimmy. So yeah, this is really one of the recipes that we grew up with, but it's a part of our lives. It's such a simple recipe and just easy to make. You're gonna see how easy this one really is to do. That recipe, along with about 20 to 25 new recipes, are in the cookbook, along with about 80 of our just all-time favorites. You might be saying Jim, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to buy the cookbook. Well, buy it for your mother or your grandmother that loves cookbooks, because there's definitely somebody in your life that loves cookbooks. I mean, and I gotta be honest with you. I own a bunch of cookbooks, and this cookbook is just absolutely gorgeous. Do us a solid, support the channel that way, because we're not doing sponsors anymore. We're not putting anything that we don't 100% support here on this channel. Thanks. So really, the only prep work you have to do here, 2 things. Olives, inspect them. And that's too much olives. That's more than a cup of olives. Olives is the one thing that can be really overpowering here. So if you're not a big olive fan, maybe even start with a half a cup. For the sausage, we're just gonna take it out of the casing. And by the way, one more thing about that cookbook. The recipe is 100% in the description here. So even if you don't want to buy a cookbook from me, you don't have to buy a cookbook. It's there for you, okay? And I would never deprive you of that. In our other recipes, when it's on the site, I just link the printable recipe. So if you want it, if you want a beautiful cookbook, we appreciate you buying it. That's it. Okay, so look, just take it out like so, okay? You don't have to do this. You can just sear it up, the whole link, and then you gotta let it go to about till it gets halfway cooked, and then you let it sit for a while, and then you can just slice your nice pieces like so, okay? All right, so there's a lot of like ingredients in here, the pounded sausage and all the other stuff there. So use a large pan. I'm using a 14-inch stainless steel pan. When you use a stainless steel pan, you have to heat it up, especially if you're gonna sear sausage like we are, because everything's just gonna stick. It's more important even if you're doing like a chicken breast or chicken thigh, you don't want it to stick. But just trust me with it. So you're gonna heat this up to about medium and give it a solid 3 minutes before you do anything. This recipe comes together so quickly, so I wanna just tell you, like even with this pan heating up, bring your water to boil, because right when we get even a few minutes into searing this sausage, that's when we gotta get our pasta in. And speaking of the pasta, Tara told me I didn't even go over it in the ingredient section, so I'm using rigatoni here. So you could use any tubular pasta you like. The really big one is
paccheri.
Good, I can never say it right. And that looks great, but it always breaks apart. But I love it, like it's such a good one. But you could also use ziti or penne, or mezze rigatoni, which is about half the size of standard rigatoni. This box sounds really cracked here. There's definitely some cracked pieces in it, but it'll be all right. Okay, so just use the sausage has a ton of fat, but just use like 2 tablespoons of oil right now. That's just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Just gonna get that coated on the pan because this is a big pan. And it's gonna like start searing right away. I'm just gonna try to move it a little bit just to get, you know, not have a really high pieces, just so we get some contact on the bottom of the pan. This is a super fatty sausage from a local place. The sausage you're using might be very different. Like if you get like a national brand like Premio or something like that, their fat percentages are not gonna be the same as like a sausage maker, and they're gonna be highly mixed, so they're extremely uniform. And some people like that, some people don't. All right, so my water is boiling. Salted water, go for like 1.5, 2% salinity, which is just like, I just use 2 nice, you know, 3-4 tablespoons of Diamond Crystal kosher salt. If you're using regular fine sea salt, just be a little careful. Put it in, and we're gonna cook it to about 1 minute less than al dente, maybe 2 minutes less than al dente. Okay, I just left the sausage alone. That's all I did. And off camera, I just cut these peppadew peppers. Peppadew. Anyway, I cut these in half. That's all I did. So the sausage has been left alone, so when you turn it, it'll get some color on it. Not a ton. You can turn your heat up a little bit if you want, but it's not the biggest deal. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use this sausage breaker or meat masher. And I misspoke, I thought this had more fat than it did, but it doesn't have much fat at all. This is sausage from Whole Foods, I believe. Sausage we get from Uncle Giuseppe's, this local place, has a lot of fat in it. To be honest, that sausage is better for like putting in Sunday sauce and not really doing a dish like this. So well, every sausage brand you use, anything you buy, it's all gonna be different. There's no like uniform like sausage society making like the rules for like what has to be. But as a general rule, it's 30 to 35% fat. Okay, to pork ratio. All right, that's good. I love this thing. It's like $8 from Amazon. You know, this really could be a 30-minute dish. Like, just get this going, have your pasta water going, and you'll be fine. If you got marinated butter beans, it'll be marinated in olive oil. You're not gonna need to add extra olive oil. If you used a can, I would use about maybe another 1/4 cup of olive oil here. All right, so that's like the one thing you gotta be doing here, like thinking about, but you don't have to do it if you got the beans from the store where they come in olive oil. Okay, we're gonna add those peppadew peppers in there.
It's P-E.
Peppadew. Peppadew. I'm not trying to like say it wrong. I'm just saying it wrong. Roasted garlic. I could throw this whole entire thing in here and it'd be delicious.
Do it.
Do it? You want me to do
Yeah.
it? Okay, fine, I'll do it. Okay, the recipe says 20 cloves of roasted garlic. If you do that, it's going to be fine. It's roasted garlic. Here are the beans that have all that oil in them. So that's why I don't really need to add the extra olive oil. Well, maybe a little bit. And then the olives, okay, this is the one thing that I would watch out for. If you don't like a lot of olives, don't use so much. I'll go about that, which is about a little bit more than half the container. I mean, you can just look at this, the flavors in here, the smell, you know it's gonna be amazing.
One of the reasons we used to make this pasta all the time was because not only was it like easy for you to make when you were like watching the kids while I was getting home from work, I knew that I would get probably 2 lunches for myself out of it. So I would package it and take it to work with me. And that's actually where it got its name. We used to just call it olive bar pasta, and then I would eat it at my desk, and my friend Catherine would say, "Oh, what are you eating? Is that pasta?" She started calling it pasta alla Jimmy.
And that is true. I mean, we made this so many times. And, you know, the Fairway had such great chicken sausage at that point. All right, so I added 1 cup of pasta water in here. Okay, we're just going to let that simmer. I'm going to add a little bit more because we're going to need it. How much time, Tara?
You have 39 seconds left.
39 seconds, okay.
Yeah.
Really, when you start any dish like this with sauce, like good sausage, crumbled sausage, whatever, and you add some nice ingredients to it, and you just get a pasta in there, you cook it, you finish it at the end, you get some nice grated cheese, do a little flip if you can. I don't think I'll struggle with a 14-inch pan here. Good things just happen, and it's super easy. You can get this meal on the table, you know, for your whole family very quickly. And you can have leftovers and bring it to the Catherine at your office.
That's the timer.
All right, I'm gonna check the pasta right now. I always just take 1 out, you know, especially when you're dealing with really large pasta. I just take a little piece of it. All right, try it. That needs another minute at least, even before I put it in here, because it's like 3 minutes from done. Okay, so you can finish the pasta in the sauce. It's still a couple minutes from being done. I recommend you save all your pasta water for any recipe you do. Colander you can use, but you have to, it's another step, because then you have to remember, if I dump it all in there, then I'm done, all right? Just take one of these, get one of these spiders like this. You can get a bigger one than this too. I have a bigger one in my, over there, but it's dirty. Wow, I knew, look at this. I knew there was something up with this pasta. They put a rotini in there. And I've never seen that in my life.
And you could tell that just by shaking the box?
That's how much pasta I've consumed in my life. And I've never, ever seen DiCecco something like that. Save the pasta water, and then we want to like cook this and mix everything together. So right away, like it's drinking it up, and it's going to take another minute or so for it to be finished, maybe 2 minutes. So I'm just going to add more pasta water in right away. All right, so let's get everything really coated well with that delicious olive oil and beans and sausage and peppadew peppers, roasted garlic.
You could throw some spinach in there, and that would be good.
Absolutely. I'm going to put parsley at the end, and you can
Yeah.
put basil in if you want to. If you got nice fresh basil, I would do that. Stay away from the dried basil. Dried basil is not allowed in our house at all, and I recommend you don't use it. You'll just ruin your dishes. Okay? That's a hill that I will die on. I will always, always, always. I will not steer you wrong either. Don't use it. Okay? Seriously, I'm for you. I'm telling you this so you don't ruin your dish. You will ruin your dish. Don't use Italian seasoning. You will ruin your dish. Nobody uses that who knows how to cook.
You just said anybody who knows how to cook doesn't use the Italian seasoning.
They don't.
There might be a lot of people in the audience that use it, and you're insulting them.
That's fine. I'm not listen, I'm not trying to hurt you if I'm just telling you the truth. My truth, okay? So let's give this a taste right now. It brings back memories. I'm so glad I put this one in the book. And I'm so glad it's pasta alla Jimmy, so nobody can copy it from me. It's amazing. You know what it is? Those peppadew peppers too, they're so good. It's like that sweetness from them a little bit. This needs another minute, okay? It's just pasta's a little too hard still. And this is what's great, that we have all of our pasta water right here, so we can just keep adding it if we need it. Even though it's salty water, when you put it in, you're gonna dilute your flavor. So you might have to keep re-seasoning, all right? This is just cooking 101. Another thing, because of all the ingredients we used are like at an olive bar, they're very salty. Olives are very salty. The beans are salty. Everything's salty. So you see I did not put any salt, extra salt in here. You don't need it. The sausage has salt in it, everything. You don't need it. We're gonna put Pecorino Romano at the end that has salt, so don't put any extra salt. All right, so it's pretty good. It maybe needs another minute, but it's fine because my family's not gonna eat it for probably 30 minutes. So that's another thing. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'll just let it sit for a bit. If you're gonna serve it right away, get it right to how you like it, then pull it off. All right, so I'm gonna take this off the heat. I'm gonna move the pan. And now we have all that extra pasta water if we need to, so we can emulsify the cheese in here. You know, it's funny, one part of the recipe I forgot was the hot red pepper. Taste it now. If you want it, add it. If not, you know, take it out, but especially if you're following me with the video. But it could definitely use some heat, so I'll add it. But that's supposed to go in when you just add in, you know, the peppadew peppers and everything else. Parsley, save a little bit for garnish. Half a cup of grated Pecorino Romano, or 45 grams. If you're worried about the cookbook not having all metric measurements, it does. Everything is in both US customary and in metric. Okay, we'll mix everything together. You saw how easy this was for me to make. It was just nothing. You can make really good recipes like this, and you know, you're not really, you know, you're not cheating or anything, but you know, it's like nice and silky, like that. If you think you need a little bit more pasta water, you add it in, and I'm gonna add a little bit more in, okay? Just another ladle. A ladle is about 1/3 of a cup, give or take. All right, let's do that final taste test here. And if we need to add any more seasoning, we will, but I highly doubt it. So good, brings back memories. So Tara, I think it's appropriate that you're the taste tester here instead of the official taste tester, because when we were making this, how old was James? About 1 year old?
Yeah, from the time he was like 1 until he was 4. We stopped making this when we moved to Minnesota because we were getting all the Olive Bar stuff from Fairway.
We were, yeah, that was the thing. And I just think a little basil leaf makes it nice.
Some extra cheese would be good too.
A little extra
But
cheese?
I'll taste it without the cheese first.
Okay.
I want to get a piece of everything. Although I don't think I have any beans in my plate.
Oh, let me get some beans. There's the beans. And you could use more beans. You could use more of anything. I would just be careful with the olives.
All right, let me try with the bean.
Little sausage, little bean. And you could put like chopped basil in there too if you don't want to use parsley. It really is like a garbage plate, and I think the original garbage pasta is chicken riggies. We did a video for that about 3 years ago, and that's from Utica, New York. Does it give you the same feeling as when we used to make it? Mm-hmm. Maybe slice the olives too if you want to do a tiny bit more work, but I wanted to show you how the most minimal amount of work can yield something that is just absolutely, you know, phenomenal.
It's so good. It really does take me back. I think the only thing missing is definitely the Fairway chicken sausage that we used to use. I loved that. It had different flavors. Like this is just like yeah, but I think like one was like a sun-dried tomato sausage. This is just, you know, mild Italian sausage that's flavored with fennel, which is delicious. But I always loved those chicken sausages. So that's kind of like the only thing that's missing from this one. But it's really good. I love it because we were able to feed our whole family. Granted, the kids were little. I don't think we would have leftovers from this.
James could eat the whole
thing. Yeah. So, but if you've got like, you know, younger kids or a smaller family, you can definitely make this and then get a few lunches out of it. I love it. I'm like ready to turn the camera off and and go.
Well, I gotta get a couple pictures.
Yeah.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what does this get?
It gets a 10 easily. It's great. It's like, for me, this is like comfort food because it takes me back to, you know, a different time, which is, I think, one of like food's greatest powers is that it can
food's
take
great.
you back.
Anything else?
No, I'm gonna have like 5 more plates.
All right. We will see you next time.